Grade 8 learners, welcome back to Prediction TV. Are you ready to learn new things today? Great! I'm your science teacher, Mrs. Margrice S. Langbayan.
Biogeochemical cycles that includes the water cycle, nitrogen cycle, and oxygen cycle. Before we start our new lesson, I have here 1 to 5 questions to check your understanding from our previous lesson about biogeochemical cycles. Are you ready to answer it? Here are the choices. We have stomata, condensation, nitrogen fixation, evaporation, photosynthesis, and respiration. Question number 1. A process where certain bacteria convert nitrogen gas into nitrates. Great! The answer is nitrogen fixation. Second question. Tiny opening or pores in plant tissue that allow gas for exchange. Very good! The answer is stomata. Third question. A process that uses carbon dioxide for plant food production. Okay, we've got it right. The answer is photosynthesis. Fourth question. A process that occurs when water becomes water vapor. Good job! The answer is condensation. Next question. For our last question, what do we call on this? A process where animals take in oxygen from the atmosphere and give off carbon dioxide. Very good. The answer is respiration. It seems that you got it all correctly, so we can now proceed in our new lesson. For our fourth quarter, week 8, the topic focuses on how do human activities affect the ecosystem. For our most essential learning competency number 30, our objectives are: first, identify human activities that affect the ecosystem. Second, suggest ways to minimize human impact on the environment. I have here a jumbled word. What I want you to do is to arrange it and what word you get. Great job! Your guess is correct. The word that is unscrambled or jumbled is ecosystem. What goes on your mind when you hear the word ecosystem? So when you say ecosystem, it encompasses all living things such as animals, plants, and microorganisms, and non-living things such as earth, climate, soil, sun, weather, and atmosphere. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms in conjunction with the non-living components of their environment, interacting as a system. These biotic and abiotic components are linked together through nutrient cycle and energy flows. What do you think is this picture all about? What human activities that affect our ecosystem? Here is the picture. Can you guess it? Okay, very good. The answer is deforestation. Next picture. What do you think it is? Uh-huh. Great job. You got it right. The answer is overpopulation. Okay, next picture. What do you think it is? What human activities that affect the ecosystem? Okay, exactly. You got it right. The answer is pollution. Pollution such as in land, water, and in air. Some of the human activities in ecosystem are agriculture, overpopulation and overconsumption, deforestation, plastic production, emission of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, overhunting and overexploitation, and pollution. Agriculture, industry, fishing, mining, overconsumption, plastic production, overhunting, and exploitation are some of the activities that have a negative effect in the ecosystem if it is excessive and unsustainable way. If it is still continued, it will result of a global warming, extinction, and many more. We know humans are the top consumers in many food pyramids. To increase food production, they use methods that have an effect on food chains and food web. Some of the farming practices are described as follow. We have first the monoculture. Second, the use of herbicides and insecticides. And third, use of chemical fertilizer. Monoculture. So when we say monoculture, the cultivation of single crop in large areas. Vast tracts of land are converted into rice farms, sugar farms, and coconut farms. By limiting the cultivation of different kinds of plants, people also deprive many animals for their food and home. These animals, some of which feed on insect pests, move to other places. Only the insects or insect pests that eat the money crop remain in the area. If uncontrolled, these pests can totally wipe out and the monocrop in a short period of time. Some soil microorganisms depend on specific plants for food. Eliminating these plants is harmful to the microorganisms, since microorganisms are responsible for returning plant nutrients to the soil. The cycle of nutrients or reuse of the plants is disturbed. Use of herbicides and insecticides. Farmers spray their crops with insecticides to kill insect pests and with herbicide to kill weeds. However, the chemicals also destroy other organisms, include beneficial insects and soil organisms, which helps in decay. Insecticides move up the food pyramid and accumulate in the body of organisms. The smallest concentration of chemical is at the base of the pyramid, occupied by producers. The amount increases towards to the top. The greatest concentration is found in the top consumers, such as the birds, mammals, and humans. Many insect pests become resistant to chemicals. This may lead to the use of increased amount of pesticides. Use of chemical fertilizer. Monocrops usually require large amount of chemical fertilizer. Continuous and uncontrolled use of chemical fertilizer may increase soil acidity, thus destroying of soil structure. Finding shows that more fertilizer are needed for the same amount of yield after years of monoculture. Fertilizer may run off to rivers, ponds, and lakes. Accumulation of fertilizer may cause to the death of these bodies of water. Fertilizers in the water will cause increased growth of algae and other water plants. They cover the water's surface and block the passage of oxygen. Thus, less oxygen is dissolved in water. Furthermore, when algae and aquatic plants die, decaying microorganisms use oxygen. Dissolved oxygen becomes insufficient, causing fish and other aquatic animals to die. Here are some desirable practices to conserve the environment. Number 1. Grow variety of crops instead of only one crops. Second, use insects to fight other insects. This is known as biological control of insect pests. And third, instead of chemical fertilizers, try organic farming using natural fertilizer for crops. For this activity, the title is Farming Practices in the Community. Below are a list of farming practices. What you need to do is to check the column for yes or no. If you think that the practices will affect the food chains and food web. Are you ready? Here it is. Farming practices number 1. Monoculture. Cultivation of single crop in large areas. Vast tracts of land are converted to rice farms, sugar farms, and coconut farms. What's your answer? The answer is yes. Instead of monoculture, try doing crop diversity. Crop diversity is fundamental to agricultural growth. They can produce varieties that resist pests and diseases and are drought tolerant, providing more protection against crop failure and better isolating poor farmers from risk. Number 2. Herbicides and insecticides. Chemicals destroy other organisms, including beneficial insects and soil organisms, which help in the decade. What's your answer? The answer is yes. Use of pesticides can lead to serious soil pollution. Groundwater pollution is a problem also. Can reduce population of important insects. Pollination may become harder. Pesticides are not selective enough. Genetics of plants may get altered through the use of pesticides. Third, farming practices use chemical fertilizer. Chemical fertilizer may increase soil acidity, thus destroying soil structure. Is that a yes or no? The answer is yes. Instead of using chemical fertilizer, we can also try composting or compost. Compost is used to improve soil structure through the addition of carbon and provide plant nutrients. In addition to being a source of plant nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, it provides psychological, chemical, and biological properties of the soil. For this activity, the title of it, fact or bluff. What you need to do is to tell whether fact or bluff. Tell fact if you think the statement is correct, and bluff if you think the statement is wrong. Are you ready, students? Are you ready, students? For fact or bluff, number one. To conserve the environment, we must grow a variety of crops instead of only one crop. What's your answer? The answer is fact. Very good. You got it right. Second question. Spray crops with insecticides to kill insect pests and with herbicides to kill weeds. The answer is bluff. Continuation of our fact and bluff. Third question. Microorganisms are responsible for returning plant nutrients to the soil. What's your answer? Good. The answer is fact. Fourth question. Biological control of insect pests is one of the desirable practices to conserve the environment. Okay, the answer is fact. You got it right. And last question, number 5. Organic farming using natural fertilizer for crops is the best way instead of using chemical fertilizer. Uh-huh, very good. Your answer is correct. The answer is fact. As a student, how can you help to minimize human activities that affect the ecosystem? As a student, here are some of the activities you can do to minimize the human activities that affect the ecosystem. First, do segregation of waste. Second, plant more trees. Third, do composting. And lastly, we can do 3 Rs by reduce, reuse, recycle. For our evaluation, We have here 1 to 5 question. The direction is read each item carefully. Write only the letter of the correct answer for each question. Here it is. Number 1. Which of the following encompasses all living things and non-living things? Is that A. Ecosystem, B. Science, C. Human activities, or D. Conservation? Okay, the answer is letter A. Did you get it right? Very good, if it is. For our number 2 question, which of the following is the positive way to conserve the environment? Is that A. Throw plastic everywhere, B. Pollute land, water, and air, C. Reduce, reuse, and recycle, or D. Cut more trees and plant single crops in a large area? What's your answer, students? The right answer is letter C. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Moving on in number 3 question. The question is, why are organic farms better for Earth's system? Is that A. Organic farms have higher standard of farming protocols? Is that B. Organic farms employ post-secondary graduates who are more knowledgeable? C. Organic farms do not use dangerous pesticides that can sweep into the groundwater. Or letter D. None of the above. The right answer is letter C. Organic farms do not use dangerous pesticides that can sweep into the groundwater. Do you want more? Here it is. For number 4 question, which of the following is the cultivation of single crop in large area? Is that A. Use of fertilizer, B. Use of insecticides, C. Monoculture, or D. Organic farming? The right answer is letter C. Monoculture. For our last question, which of the following is not proper way to minimize human impact on the environment? Is that A. Use of animal manure as fertilizer? B. Use insect to fight other insect? Is that letter C. Use of chemical fertilizer? Or D. Grow variety of crops instead of one crop? The answer is letter C. Use of chemical fertilizer. Did you get it right? Very good!
That's the end of our discussion. Hope that you learned today. Once again, I'm your science teacher, Miss Margaret S. Langbayan, reminding you that listen attentively and think critically. Goodbye!